Good evening. So most of you must have received the link to join the lecture, and I guess many of you have already joined. So we were discussing the complete psychology through our innovative approach of PTQ, prepared through questions. We had already divided our first block, introduction, research methods of psychology, and measurement of ID. ID is individual differences. So all these chapters are under block 1, B1, block 1, and we were doing introduction chapter. Under the introduction chapter also we had divided it into several portions. Then depending upon the questions which have been asked by UPSC repeatedly, we were discussing certain themes. We had discussed a few themes. Today we'll do another theme where we revision and repetition of the major perspectives of psychology. What I call it as 7 schools of psychology or 7 sisters of psychology. So, the 7 schools of psychology which have shaped the history, the present, laid the foundation of the future of psychology are as follows. Firstly, we have seen that psychology was being seen as made up of 2 major disciplines. And which were the 2 major disciplines? One is your philosophy. Most of the social sciences, in fact most of the disciplines including the sciences also, have emerged from the one discipline, mother discipline, that is philosophy. And if you look at psychology, philosophy and physiology combined gave rise to psychology, to the discipline of psychology. But the discipline of psychology, like many other disciplines of social sciences, got an independent identity when the school of structuralism was founded. By Wilhelm Wundt, who is also called the father of psychology. Wilhelm Wundt, along with his pupil, disciple, student, Titchener, gave way to the establishment of scientific psychology or experimental psychology. Where they studied the mental processes or consciousness. By studying the structure, the elements of which these mental processes were formed. So, the major focus of the school of structuralism was on reducing the mental processes, reduce mental processes or consciousness into the most basic elements And what were these most basic elements? As I can see, few of you have joined right now only. So just a major recap what we were doing. So we today are doing this 7 schools of psychology or 7 sisters of psychology. Like there are 7 sisters in the northeast. All the northeastern states combined are called 7 sisters. Likewise, psychology, if you look at the discipline of psychology, it has emerged through various schools, various perspectives. These are 7 major perspectives which we are talking about. We have talked about them earlier, but we are doing a revision along with new insights which are important when you are dealing with the questions and major debates in psychology. So out of the 7 schools, one is your structuralism, about which we are talking. So you see, first of all, psychology as a discipline was found to be closer to 2 major parent disciplines. One was philosophy, second physiology. Psychology was thought to be a combination of physiology and philosophy. Philosophy, which gave birth to most of the social science disciplines, physiology, which impacted psychology like anything. But due to emergence of this school, structuralism, and who gave birth to this school was Wundt, Wilhelm Wundt. Wundt, along with his disciple Titchener, said that the focus of psychology should not be soul, should neither be mind, but consciousness. And consciousness meant mental processes actually. By reducing the mental processes into the most basic elements, beyond which reduction is not possible, by seeing that which are the elements which shape the consciousness, which shape the mental processes, through the method of introspection. Introspection, or also called scientific self-observation. Through the method of scientific self-observation or introspection by trained volunteers. And who trained them? Trained by Wundt. That if a stimulus is exposed to you, light, sound, anything, then how you respond? You have to watch or observe your mental process. And once the mental process is broken down into most basic elements like image, affect, and sensation, firstly. Secondly, seeing the interaction between them. How do they interact? What is the level of interaction? How all these give rise to the holistic experience of mental processes. So what we are looking at here is reductionism, as we have already talked about. As we can see in the critical evaluation of this school, that this is not a scientific approach. Critical evaluation. When there is a question of critical evaluation, remember that you have to write both negative and positive aspects of the school or any particular concept in question. When suppose I ask you a question, critically examine the concept of LOPA, levels of processing approach, then what are you supposed to give? Give me the positive and negative both aspects of levels of processing approach. What is levels of processing approach? As many of you are already experienced with the most of the aspects of psychology, levels of processing says that the recall we have, the quality of recall we make depends upon the level at which, the intensity with which we process the information, whether it is already only structural or it is phonetic or the process has been semantic. That is, our effort has been to understand the meaning of the particular concept or particular word. Suppose we say a bird. You see, bird is written like this, B-I-R-D. Or somebody may say bird sounds like this, bird. This is the sound of the bird. But you say, what does the bird actually mean? Bird is a concept. It is described by these features. Then your understanding is broad. And through these methods only the concept learning took birth. So if I ask you, what is the critical evaluation? So you will say that this approach is a great departure from your